We're talking to Rand Paul just for another moment or so here on the Laura Ingraham Show. Vaccines, should they be mandatory? Now, of course, Obama chimed in on that before the Super Bowl. Chris Christie weighed in on it today. What's your thought on vaccinations?
You know, as a physician, I've always been fascinated by sort of the smallpox vaccine and the history of it. There's a great book called The Speckled Monster, which talks about how the first doctor in Boston, Boylston, actually vaccinated courageously his own kids. Washington, got it naturally, but then vaccinated his wife. So I'm not anti-vaccine at all, but particularly most of them ought to be voluntary. And, what happens if you have somebody not wanting to take the smallpox vaccine and it ruins it for everybody else? I think there are times in which there can be some rules, but for the most part it ought to be voluntary. And the biggest one was, I don't know if you remember when Governor Perry made it mandatory to get for a sexually transmitted disease to have everybody have to take it. While I think it's a good idea to take the vaccine, I think that's a personal decision for individuals to take and when they take it. I was annoyed when my kids were born that they wanted them to take hepatitis B in the neonatal nursery, and it's like, that's a sexually transmitted disease or a blood-borne disease.
Okay.
And I didn't like them getting 10 vaccines at once, so I actually delayed my kids' vaccines and had them staggered over time.
Smart. I should have done that before I got my kids' vaccines. I should have talked to you. Rand Paul.